What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Digital Artist React. My name is Hugo Ceneviva, your host, and today we don't have a lot of news going on, but we're gonna go deep dive in some files because I got 2 files from our listeners, and I also separate a couple more because I just didn't get the 5 that I was expecting. So if you want to participate, if you want to have a live feedback on your work and you want it to be analyzed by me, remember to send me to my email the link, and all the instructions are gonna be on the comment section of this video. So whenever you go to YouTube, you don't know what to do, just click on the description and then you will see right there what you have to do so your artwork can be revised by me live here. Okay? So without further ado, let's deep dive and let's explore some cool artworks for today. Alright, everybody, so let's start our deep dive. First of all, we're gonna do 3 artworks on Behance that I separate for us. The first is this one here. Then we're gonna go Rising Auto R7, and then Heaven's Door from Guilherme Schwenkber. He's one of our listeners, and also Gabriel Christoph. And we're also gonna cover this work here by the amazing photographer Simon Puschmann from Germany. I believe he lives in LA, because I got in contact with him through Instagram, so to maybe do some artworks, and he was traveling to Germany. He's always traveling because he's a really good photographer, and you can see if we look at his work, he has been doing a lot of automotive work, and he has a big range of artworks that he does and color exploration. Like, you can see that he's a very creative photographer, and it's like one of the things that I love is like he's always trying to strive for something creative, something new. Always this search, like searching for something new, searching for something fresh that will cause a nice impact, and of course also help to sell which product or car that he's shooting. So let's start with this project from Simon. It's the new face of Buick. Buick is an American automotive company, and I think from like 2-3 years they're starting to like revamp their cars to be more technological, to have a different design. So I think it's part of this mission that Simon has on this assignment, that it is bringing something fresh and show in a different way the new Buick. So for this study here, guys, I want you guys to pay attention on 3 things. Composition of the photo. It's like how he frames everything on the scene. I want you to pay attention to the lighting and also the colors and also the storytelling. Okay? And for last but not least, when you work with cars, especially if you're doing outside shooting or projects that are similar like that, location. The location always makes the shoot, or depending, only if you're doing on studio, it's a completely different thing. But I believe when you're going outside, or especially when I see these photographers, like they pick the places that they're gonna shoot very well, so they can travel around with the camera, they can shoot the car in different positions, and also try to strive for those dynamic angles. Okay, so let's just keep everything in mind and let's look at the first shot here. Nice, beautiful house. You can see that there's warm colors inside. We have our Buick here, kind of the center of the frame. You kind of see on this right side here that you have like a pathway to, like an entrance to the house. You also see a little bit of a patio downstairs here on the left. You have a blue sky with a gradient, not too many clouds because probably didn't need it, or the sky was pretty clean that day. But analyzing the image this way, I don't think you need it that much because you have a lot going on here on this image. And you can see that he plays warm and cold with the tones warm and cold. And that's pretty much it for this first one. So when we go to the second one, it's starting to like, it goes back to the same balcony that he was there, but this time he's using a reflection. I don't know if this reflection was natural. It seems to be natural because it's glass, and I think depending on the angle, it would reflect that way. But that's something that I think is really cool because the subject is right here on the balcony of this house. Let's imagine that is her house, for example. And you have this reflection that kind of duplicates the car and brings your eye directly to this spot here. You also have the lighting coming up, creating a nice contrast, so you have the car in evidence and you see the pathway. And look how cool he did with the colors. Remember that I say warm and cold. So you have the car in the sun and also this pathway, this driveway here. And look how he plays with the colors. He kind of kept the same kind of structure of the first one here, but you can see you're always gonna have slightly variations. But I believe when you put everything together, let's suppose that you're gonna print all the shots, and this is also something that I usually do on my projects. Like once if I'm doing a campaign or something that has like several shots, like 5, 10, 15 shots, I try to put everything together to see how this would work and how, if they are cohesive, if they tell a story, and that only makes the project better. And I think it's really, really nice too, because he had this pink outfit here, which makes a nice contrast with the green. So let's look at the next one. Next one kind of have the same vibe, changing the angle. Now they're inside the house, but you can see that the car is always there in some creative way. This way, on this one here, it's nice because we have the glass doors, so you see directly where she's going. She's going to the car is right there. Has a nice contrast in the car to value the silhouette of the car. And then you have this warm going to cold tone inside of the house. The warm is made because of the wood, but you can see that there is a difference. The inside is a little more cold, so the wood is not very vibrant, how you see when the sun is hitting here. Then we go another way. I think that's kind of a photo of a balcony. And what I think it's cool on this one is the framing, because of the it's like if the husband is looking at the wife, she just arrived home and she's coming inside. And I think it's cool because something that you guys are gonna always pay attention in car photography, the shadows help to shape the shots too. So in this case, because of the shadow here, you have all this area of interest inside the car, and you have the lady kind of in and out of the shadow, but that helps to guide your eye directly here. And super cool. You still have the trees and everything here, and you can see further away on this right top corner here, it goes away, so it gives you depth of field and gives you an impression that they are on this big valley because it's surrounded by the mountains. It's pretty cool. This one, I think it's seen through the glass, so you have some refraction going on here. You can see that it's not as vibrant as the other ones, because I think the idea was to kind of just shoot through the glass and see how that would behave. This one is just the car coming out. I personally am not a big fan of this motion blur this way, but I respect, no problem. Same here. You have the lighting and the light on the concrete, kind of making a frame for it. She's getting out of the house and you can see the house back there. Now we're introducing the husband and also playing with the reflection. So I think he shot this through the glass again to create this nice reflection here. Nice. This is really nice because it gives you a sense of communication between the two models. You can see how beautiful she looks. She's well illuminated. Remember that I said hot, warm and cold. So she is much warmer. You can feel the sun on her hands, and she has a little bit of red, magenta, and yellow on her. Her eyes being green also helps. Like you're gonna notice that I'm talking about a lot of things here. So it's like at the end of the day, sets of images beautiful like this, it does just happen. It's all planned. It's all meticulous planned for the photographer to extract the best that he can. This is a rolling shot on the streets. You can see that they kind of brought the warmth from the house to this bricks here on the street. It seems like a very nice street. You have a nice lighting and it works pretty well. And they kept the sky with not many clouds, so your focus it's on the car. Another rolling shot, really nice. Another rolling shot, cool. This one, it's a little different. Nice. This is interior. See that they're always trying to frame the car in a different and creative way. Like she was spending the day with the car. And curious enough, there's another Buick here. Nice. Another inside shot with the car in like on a second plane. And the car is in the background. Nice. And then there she is, looking from the top. Another nice reflection. I love when photographers do this kind of thing because it brings a new element and it shows kind of where is her surroundings, which I think is very creative. And reflections are always cool. And this is a little bit of a different shot. Now she's on the pool. Back in the house, you can see that the Buick is there on the left, on the background, blurry. But you can kind of see that this whole photo shoot and the whole environment it's kind of telling a story between her and the car and like what she's doing for her day. And she comes back in a different outfit. Same thing, some shots in the pool. And that's it, guys. I hope you'll enjoy, and please follow Simon. He is a great photographer and he always putting some nice work out there. All right, this is Kegu beauty shot for, I think it's a Lincoln, this car. What I thought was very interesting on this project is that the way that he worked with the duality of colors and this kind of like blurry reflections that he had. I would love to see like a BTS shot of this because just to see how he did it. Because it seems to me that you have some sort of reflective material here and you have this lighting. What I thought was cool is like how everything looks. On this one is not, you have the reflection here is the most pronounced, but look at this one, for example. I absolutely love what this effect here created. I don't know if he put something over the lens to create that effect, or if it's something that he was playing after, or if he mixed anything. That's why I was curious about like, oh, maybe he has a BTS on this. But this is a project that I just thought was really cool and really fresh because it's kind of different and especially with a white car, you have the if you play with gels of colors, the car is gonna absorb all the color, all the lighting, so you can create different situations where the car kind of transforms itself into something more artistic, which is pretty cool. And if you guys wanna to follow Kegyu, you're gonna see that I follow a lot of Asian photographers because I'm a crazy guy. I like to study and see what everybody around the world is producing, so I can keep myself fresh and always try to innovate on my images too. So now let's look at this one, Yang Zhu. He's from Shanghai, China, and he also focused on automotive. So you're gonna see that pretty much all the 5 that we're revising today for our car shots. But don't worry, we're gonna variate for the next ones. We're gonna bring different things. I just had this ones already separate here, and because Gabriel sent me a car too, so I was like, oh, maybe I can use a car there too, so we can explore and make this kind of a car week. Okay, so for this one, I want you to think about 2 things: silhouetting. That is the way that he's gonna work with shadows to show the silhouette of the car, the silhouette of the mountains, and silhouette of the subject matter, which is this lady here. And because imagine that he's doing this around like the sun is almost coming down. It's almost the end of the sunset. So it gives you a really nice gradient on the sky with a little bit of brightness. So allows him to play. He's gonna see that he plays a lot with the brake lights and with other sources of light. And you're gonna see how cool that looks once we start going deep on the project. So this first shot here, really nice. You'd see that he didn't silhouette everything because he wanted to keep a little bit of the lighting here. It's kind of like a soft box with a lighting that is really smooth and really soft. This one, remember what I said about the mountains? Cool thing, the mountains, the silhouette of the car, and then you have the silhouette of the lady with the lighting, with the lights of the car directly on her. So your eyes go directly to the center, boom. And you see exactly what he wants you to see it. Brake light again, making kind of delineating and kind of marking where the car ends and where the car starts. And remember that I said about the soft box, you still can see a little bit of the details here, but it's not fully black like it is when you go to the mountains that are much further away. Look how cool it is. The horizon line, is always the in emphasis here, and the brake lights help to situate the car and kind of create this additional source of lighting. So this is also reflecting on her. And you have soft gradient, a soft entrance of light here on her face. Really subtle, but you can see that you have this beautiful gradient that varies from like yellowish to orange, and then it goes to red and almost magenta at the end. This one is a little more extreme when it comes to the contrast, but I thought it was pretty cool because he still kept a little bit. He didn't go too dark here. And you can see the lines of the car, how the car is reflecting on the environment, and it works pretty well. This one with a little reflection is just showing her in different situations, different poses with the hair movement. It's always nice. Now she's walking a little further away. I already made a comment about this lighting here coming from the coming from the brake lights, and you see that you notice some parts of the car are a little more illuminated and another parts are darker. So it makes kind of a secret. It's almost like a review, which I thought was a pretty cool idea. This one is a little brighter because you have the strong lighting here from the lights of the car. And she's kind of hanging out there, and this is kind of reflecting, creating a little brighter spot. But look how cool her face looks on this shot. It's kind of, she's looking at somewhere, searching something. This one is like freedom, you know, like I am free. I am driving this beautiful car on this beautiful landscape, and I'm enjoying the sunset pretty much. And look how cool. This is something that photographers always do, and I think you can also bring to your projects too. Like try to see how the light's behaving with the subject matter. Because sometimes you get these nice effects on the hands here, and it helps you silhouette your subject in different ways, in a creative way. This one is a little colder one, but you can see they probably put some lighting to her face, so it would get a little warmer. Nice. Now she's just playing with the light of the car. Again, interacting with the car, and high contrast shot. Now it's almost night, so it's almost at the end of the experience. Nice. Nice. I love this because depending on the angle that you shoot the car almost works as a mirror. So it creates this nice reflection here, and the subject matter, everything is converging. All the lines of this shot, all the lines are converging to her because she is the one who matters on this shot. Nice. All right, if you guys want to follow Young Zoo, I would recommend. He's a really good photographer and always doing something fresh. Now, we're gonna go to the Heaven's Door from Guilherme Schwenkberg. Man, I'm sorry for my pronunciation. Sometimes my English tricks me. English is my second language, and some last names for me are kind of hard to say. It's called the Heaven's Door. So let's see. This is his image here. This is the image flipped. This is the landscape. Let's see his process. Start building the sky, then he grabs some mountain photography. So he's making a mountain. Heaven's Door. Okay. With clouds covering everything. He's adding a statue there. He's adding another statue. Is it the same statue? Yeah. Seems like it. Is there any more? Okay, this is the final one. For this feedback, I have here on my Photoshop. So let's check it out. I made some notes here, and I want to show it to you guys. And let's see what we can suggest to Guilherme and see what are the things that he did right on this and what we can improve. So first of all, let's do a little black and white just to check the contrast. And the first glance, I already notice that, for example, this area here and this area here and kind of here, it's really dark. It's really dark. So you see that the lighting almost dies here, almost dies abruptly, like poof. And you have some other things here. This is kind of opaque. So let's go back to the color. Let's look the saturation map, just a little bit here on the statue. I'm sure he was trying to guide our eyes there. And let's see color. So you can see that on the color comparison here, there's a lot of blue and a little bit of yellowish, kind of orange there. Okay, Guilherme, so let's see my notes here. First of all, I always like to come and like zoom in like 100% to kind of see, or 200% to see what's going on. And I noticed that your image, my friend, has a lot of noise. Can you see here? Look at the difference, for example, from the noise that you have right here compared to here. See? This noise needs to be consistent. And look, for example, this image here has way more noise. So be careful. Sometimes you're forcing too much the resolution. When you're trying to do composites like this, you need to check your assets. You need to make sure that they're all kind of the same resolution. Because at the end of the day, what you want is this to look like a photo, like it was just... So you cannot have these discrepancies when it comes to resolution. Because it kind of tells... For example, it kind of told me to say, okay, so this is a different shot here. You can see I made another note about the edge. Like, man, be careful when you're cutting your mountains and everything. Put a little feather. You can see there is even a little halo here, because I think he applied a high pass. This seems like a high pass halo to me. And when I talk about edge here, make sure that your masks are properly made, man. Make sure that you're doing this with care and paying attention to the details. Because, for example, I see some edge problems here again. You can see many spots. Some of the edges are more crisp than the other ones. The same thing here. You can see this black edge here. And for example, you're making your light source come from here. So it's not gonna be dark here. It needs to be clean, you know? So we keep going. There's a little more edges. There's a bunch of edges. I didn't mark every single one, but you can see what I'm talking about. Like, you can see that some of the edges are way more crisp, and when you're trying to blend these different images together, the edges needs to be in kind of the same level of feather. If they're all crisp, they are all crisp. But they cannot be, one is super soft and then another part of the image is crisp, because that, again, it shows that you didn't do a good job when it comes to masking. Okay. Oh, the thing that I said about the edge again, look, I can see clearly there's a line here, a dark line there. There's some pixelation going on. See the amount of noise again. Look, the amount of noise here compared to the amount of noise here. We gotta pay attention to this because this is really important. Another note that I made is like the scene is almost monochromatic. Maybe could add more colors. And when I tried to say, when I was talking about that, what I was thinking about, I was thinking that, for example, look at this part here that you have this part of the sky, which is a little more warm, just a little bit. Imagine if this was a bigger part of this sky here that is coming and goes behind the statues. Because here you already have all the darkness, right? This is all dark and very in the shadow parts of your image. So I think bringing a little bit of more warmth here, it's almost like, okay, you said it was heaven's door. So for example, you don't want it to be too dark, like you want it to look a little more heavenly, like a little bit more magical. So I truly think that if you could bring a little more warmth to this part of your sky, maybe clean up a little bit of these clouds, because it's almost too much clouds around there. It would give you a sense of depth, so it would show that your image goes farther away. And I think it would look really cool, because what happens is, like, in many parts of your image here, it's white. Look, where the sun comes here, that you put a little flare here to show that this is where the lighting is coming behind this mountain here. But in front of this one, if you had a little yellowish here, look how opaque this looks. Look how whitish it looks. So it doesn't give you warmth at all. It's a really cold scene. So I think you would be able to balance your image a little better if you had this warm lighting coming up this way. This part too dark. This part here, I don't know, maybe it's like a cloud that you left on screen. I would just remove it. This part, I would just remove it too, or clone, because it's not very pleasing to me when I see it. Like, I would like to be more fluid. Like, this is almost like a sea of clouds. So I would like to be as fluid as it can be. Like, for example, the work that you did on this part here, I really liked it. Really liked it. Because it's natural. It's beautiful. See? And another thing, my friend, don't duplicate the two images, especially this close, Like, I'm trying to see if you did anything different between them, but it doesn't seem like it. Even the masks seems to be the same. So just be careful, because it's like you don't want two exact copies by themselves. Maybe you can change a little bit. Maybe you put some texture here to show a little destruction, or do something different, because it's something that clients don't like. And I feel like once you get used to this, or like you start like, oh, I'm just gonna do this, I'm gonna flip my sky and just extend it. Like, there's many ways. This is very, like, I want to call like a beginner move, because sometimes or maybe you didn't have another shot to use. So it's like sometimes you need to spend a little more time on gathering your assets and planning the shot before you dive into Photoshop. Because once you dive in Photoshop, you mask everything. You're not gonna come and say, hey man, I need to change this now. So I think a better next time, try to get different options, or just modify it. I think just modifying would be fine, to be honest. And another thing, since you have this sea of clouds, and notice the difference of resolution that I said between this part and this part. Since you have this sea here, I would like to see something in this middle here. Something like I don't know, maybe a boat or something, like anything, because I felt like it was too open. Like the things that it caught my attention, it was this, like this part here. So I would love to have something here to kind of bring the connection, be the bridge between the darkness and the light, And last but not least, I think you add too much contrast to your scene. What do I mean by that? It means that sometimes your lighting dies abruptly. I would like to have some sort of gradiency coming up, like from light to like here, it would be way darker. So you have a little bit of variation on your tones. This way, I think the image will look much better. Let me do an adjustment here just to see. I didn't want to do any adjustments on this one because I was like, I saw so many other things to fix that I just wanted to see how it would look if I add a little color there. But it's so white too. Let me see if I can. Let me see. Just want to test, guys. Yeah, of course, this will have to be done in a much more detail. I'm just trying to see if this would work. Yeah, it's still too white here. We would have to have this flare or something here a little more warm, and then we would feather out this part here to be, yeah. Let me see. Yeah, we'll still have to add some lighting here because I'll have to come back. And I'm just testing, okay? Don't get me wrong. Just trying to see if I can illustrate what I was trying to say about the gradients. Yeah. See, it's a little more soft, but you had to do the whole thing here. Well, Guilherme, congratulations, and I'm gonna leave my like here. Congratulations on the project, and just remember these things that I told you. Like, you can see the image had a lot of potential, but we are here to give you feedback and try to explore different things so you can create better images, okay? Till next time, my friend. Now, let's see the Hyundai Tucson from Gabriel Christoph. I think Gabriel, let me just look at my email here. Hey Hugo, recently did this project with a photographer called Mark Flaker, and I really like the results of the images. I told you in the middle of the last year on Discord that I started in working with studying Photoshop in January of 2023. So it's coming up in a year now. And I wanna in the era of retouch in May. Okay. When I got to know your channel, practically sacrificed this year just to study, and I think in 1 year I have a really nice evolution, even without don't having a lot of conditions to study or never did any course. Well, that's awesome, dude. Congratulations. So let's see what you did here, but let's check out the project first. Okay, let's just hi, this is a project I did with photographer Mark Flaker in Spain, presenting the Hyundai Tucson as an attractive landscape, highlighting its beauty under the sunlight, enhancing the scene at night. This was my contribution in post-production. I'm looking forward to bringing more elements through this partnership and hope you enjoy. I appreciate the opportunity. I am committed to further improvements. All right, so let's look at the shots. This is the shot number 1. This is the shot that he sent to me to get feedback. This is shot number 2. Really nice. I like this. What is it called? Wheat. Yeah. Close, creating this little bokehs. It shows that he shot with a low aperture. Okay. Okay. I don't know if I love the color of the wheat itself. I feel like I would make something that is a little more reddish. Because you see that you have a little bit of a reddish stone here. Just think like this is almost like a green, like the yellow. When the yellow start turning into green a little bit, I would change that. Yeah, and I don't like when the shadows. It's almost gray. I would bring a little color on this because it looks almost too dead for me. This is my personal taste. And I would have a little bit of a tone. So the car is not fully silver, because silver is another color of car that absorbs a little bit of the lighting around it. Like, see here? See how it's more warm? Nice. Oh, this is the night shot. Nice. I like this one. Nice. Nice. All right, so let's go into Photoshop to check it out. So I made some notes here, not too many because I did some adjustments, and honestly, because I saw that you didn't do any compositing on this, you pretty much are processing the image and trying to create a mood or color mood to your scene. So it's like, okay, so let's focus on that. But there's some things that I saw. For example, if I go a little, I don't know if you can see from. There's an effect that happens in the sky. It's called bending. Because sometimes you do some adjustments on your sky, but it starts breaking up like this. I just exaggerated so you guys can see. Because you're going from light to dark too fast, and it kind of breaks. Especially with cyan and blue skies, it breaks into some kind of a greenish tone that you can see when I exaggerated here a little bit. So just be careful with that and try to fix it. Usually what I do, I'm just gonna do here pretty quickly. I do filter gallery, and then I select my spatter, 25 and 1. And I would brush this back. Of course, respecting the clouds and everything, but I just wanted to show you how it breaks the steps. See the difference between all the steps you have here, differentiating in tones and creating that weird feeling. Here, you don't have it anymore. But you have to be careful because when you apply spatter, you pretty much like spraying everything. So you're mixing up everything. So you have to be careful with the edges because what you're doing with your image is pretty much this. So you need to be very careful when you mask. And after you do, come here, do a Gaussian blur of like a 0.8 pixel just to eliminate that crispness that was there. See, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, so I already gave you one tip for that. Bending the skies. I'll add some clouds, man. I feel like it's missing something. The sky is too open, it's too empty. Like you only have little clouds here, and I think you could explore a little more. And I think this is too bright. I noticed on the other ones too. I don't like when it's too bright like this. What I would suggest is like go back on your camera raw and try to reduce a little bit. Or what you can do, but of course do this in a proper way, is to kind of come here. Oh, this is not gonna look good. Let me see. Yeah, I would find a way to reduce this a little bit, or even cleaning this part and adding again the light just to be a little less, because this is so strong. It gives me an impression that it's super strong. Agora let's see what are the adjustments that I did here to create this, to make this a little more interesting. You're gonna notice that I changed the color of the wheat a little bit to be a little more reddish. Remember that I said that I thought it could be a little more red because of the intensity of the sun here, and because you had this kind of red coming up. And this is quick adjustments, guys. I just did this before the video, so don't judge me. This is just to give you an idea of, for example, if I was your senior and we were working together, this is how I would guide you, okay? So let's go adjustment by adjustment. The first one, I just create a luminance mask, and I made it brighter and add a little yellow just on this part, on these parts here, just on the wheat, because I wanted to bring a little more yellow and brighten it up a little bit. And then I wanted to bring more highlights, so I did a mask that is even more aggressive just to get these speckles here, because I wanted to exacerbate it a little more because of this lighting that is so strong. Then I don't remember. Oh no, has nothing. Then I use a selective color to change the color of the wheat to be a little more red, darkening up this side here. Of course, we would have to do the bending fix first, or yeah, we have to do the bending fix first and treat this properly. Usually when I do gradients like this, I apply a noise of 2%, and I also do the spatter, because you don't want this bending to happen. And then after that, I usually do like a 1 pixel blur, so you see it's blending nicely. Then I add a little more of red, and then I start messing with the car, because I thought the car was way too silver. So I add a little bit of warm here with a touch of red and a little bit of yellow. You can see that it changes here. And then on this part that is not facing the sun, I added a little bit of darkness, a little bit of blue and cyan, really subtle. Maybe you could add a little more here, because when I look at your image black and white, I kind of thought that it was missing a little bit of contrast, and I feel like with this it generates a little bit more. But I didn't want to change your image too much. And lastly, I made, no, that's why the contrast looks better. Yeah. See? A little more brighter here on this section, a little darker here. But I think it gave the image a little more of a punch of color. You know, this way it was a little too bland. Like let's put it like this. I think you were going in the right direction. I just wanted you to go a little further. That's all. And to finish, let me just try one thing here, because I think this can be cool. Yeah. So I'm gonna load this selection, and I'm gonna go blue and cyan. Let me see if it changes a little bit. Okay. Let me see if it looks good. Of course, this is gonna have to be way more subtle than this. Like a 30% only. Really soft. I don't know if you need it. Let me try to do it a little magenta. Because you don't have the lighting hitting there. But I think adding the little magenta there, it's nice because it kind of brings everything together. And you can notice now, like your contrast in your whole scene is a little better. But again, like this, the lighting here, this super intense sun bothers me a little bit. I would love, let me see if I can do something real quick. Let's flat everything and let's do sky replacement. Let's press yes. We just want the mask. Cool. I don't want this. I don't want this. I just want this part here. I'm gonna just burn. Just burn here real quick so it doesn't invade where I don't want it. And let's burn it back here because I want the whole sky to go down. Nice. Alright. So now I'm gonna duplicate, throw this here, and then I just wanted to see how it would look. You still would want that part there to be here, to be lighter. And then you can even grab this. Oh, okay. And then you can take it off here. So you still have the intensity, but not too much. Yeah. I think I like that, to be honest. But I think I went too... Because I like how this was reacting behind the car, and I didn't want it to go too blue, so I'd have to go back and add some. But these are just suggestions, okay? I was trying to find something that would be interesting to tell you because I like the image that you did. But the intention of the channel here, it's always to help our listeners, help the community, provide feedback, give my opinion about it. And that doesn't mean that I'm right all the time. Sometimes that can be my perception. I have a lot of experience, but I think we can all always improve. So if you want to ever give me feedback on my stuff is all over the internet. Feel free. Because the only way to get better at your craft is to get feedback, try again, and evolve. And this guy has been studying for only 1 year. So I think we have to give him our thumbs up and say congratulations to Gabriel. And keep going, my friend. Keep going, keep studying, and you can go really far. Okay, our channel, our episode, it's finishing here, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will be back next week.